Hi, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Paul Adepoju and from Nigeria, and I'll be speaking on the aspects of media and disease reporting, especially how it affects tuberculosis. 2 years ago, I was thinking along the line of the theme of this session, and I was like, since there is a cure for tuberculosis, why is it still a leading the leading cause of mortality, not just especially in developing world. And it occurred to me that the the way the media has been handling tuberculosis so far is not how it was. Is not how it's supposed to be, and there is an avenue for improvement. The best way to understand this logic is to compare the media coverage of HIV/AIDS with that of tuberculosis. I can say virtually almost every information on HIV is out there, but unlike HIV/AIDS, there is still a whole lot of information that are hidden in scientific researches and are still not made available to members of the public who don't have access to medical journals. And the reason not far-fetched, most of this information are not even available to some media houses. I know there are reputable media houses that have very perfect health desks that handle medical issues like tuberculosis, but a lot of the media houses in the countries that are more affected by tuberculosis, they really don't have enough manpower, scientific manpower, to understand what the TB challenges are and to come up with suggestions that will help the government of the nation to formulate better policies to tackle the condition. In 2010, someone close to me died of tuberculosis, and it's not the problem of lack of resources, because the person was a very rich person, rich man. He was the head of a media house, so it wasn't an issue of finances, but the fact that the person wasn't well informed enough about tuberculosis, and that's someone that is the head of a media house. Talk less of the millions of people that don't know anybody in the media. So I believe that there is still a lot of work to be done when it comes to media, and one of the problems that I believe media is creating is there is still a lot of shortage of information. Yes, there is information on how to contract tuberculosis. That if you inhale, normally people tend to reduce the strong nature of a message and make it so in trying to make it simple, they lose a lot of messages by the way. For example, if I tell people to just that it's just inhaling of here, then everybody should be going around with face masks. But that's not what it's all about. That's why I believe a lot of wrong information is being passed on. Apart from that, I even in sponsored adverts on tuberculosis, some days ago I was listening to a radio jingle where individuals were told to come to the hospital for TB diagnosis when they are coughing out blood for 3 days. And I don't need to go into the full details about the TB pathogenesis. Before an individual could be coughing out blood, it will have reached a state that the person is already an infective disseminant, someone that distributes the infection to and put other people at risk. So imagine coughing out blood for 3 days. Just understand, and this is a very highly, a densely populated society. So if individuals like that are going around and coughing out blood, waiting for 3 days, I'm very sure they would have come in contact with sometimes thousands of people, especially in religious houses. People go to mosque here on a daily basis, 5 times in a day. People even go to church sometimes 5 days, more than 5 times in a day. So imagine meeting, go even just going to say your prayers in the mosque 5 times in a day and coughing out blood three consequently for 3 days. Look at it, thousands of people that we would have infected with tuberculosis. So that is a major challenge. And apart from that, there is a problem of trying to. Another challenge that the media is not helping with is trying to. I see it as a dilemma in the process of enlightening people about what tuberculosis is all about. We tend to lose. People tend to remove a lot of information. They remove a lot of information that they believe would be counterproductive to the prevention of tuberculosis. One of such is the practice here in Nigeria where people that are at risk, that are active, that are actively distributing these infective organism, they tend to sometimes when they at a particular stage that they are seen as a threat to the society, they are they are hospitalized, as in they are kept in the hospital and taken care of, and they are isolated from society and kept in the hospital. But how will a media house present such as a measure in tackling tuberculosis? They tend to what they do here is that information like that are not disseminated. People don't talk about such aspects of TB control practice here. What you do is just that I said you just tell them to come for diagnosis, and once they are diagnosed they'll be treated free of charge. They always emphasize on the cost, which is actually free here in Nigeria thanks to donation by Damien Foundation. But I believe that is not helping. When let's look at it this way. If you know that something okay, you can just toilet treatment and go. People tend to equate it with other normal conditions. But if we put more emphasis on the fact that this is a very strong condition that is so strong that if you don't get diagnosed on time, you could be actually isolated from society. I believe people will be taking tuberculosis more serious. Apart from that, another challenge that I've been able to see so far in how media is handling tuberculosis is the issue of I see it as competition with other disease conditions. For example, people okay, people are shouting about AIDS. That AIDS is the deadliest virus. Then several agencies pump money into HIV research. People are shouting about hepatitis too, and a lot of noise have been made about heart diseases, heart diseases, lung cancer, breast cancer, diabetes mellitus insipidus, even Alzheimer's disease, and a host of other Parkinson's disease, and a lot of sickle cell anemia, and lots of other conditions. So it's always like, and how are these conditions presented? They they are presented as conditions that need immediate attention. So if we are presenting tuberculosis too as a disease that needs immediate attention only, then I believe that on the minds of people and even policymakers, what they were thinking is, oh, this is another disease. All diseases are deadly, so we need to equate them. Let's balance out our resources. Let's put emphasis there. So tuberculosis will now have to compete with other health conditions for attention of government. I believe this is what is being done in most of the countries. We tend to present tuberculosis as a very serious condition. Yes, it's serious. So it's also other health conditions. There's a need for the media, for people in the media to think out of the box, be creative. That's why last year I tried to do something on tuberculosis. Like I said earlier, I wanted to present a new angle with the introduction of a story of the person that died actually, but there was shortage of funds that couldn't finance the project. So the project is still there somewhere. One day I hope I will get to it when I have access to funds. We need to be creative. Let's not come. Let the media. Let reporters shouldn't compete. We shouldn't just say that okay, this is a dangerous condition. This is a serious condition that is killing people. A lot of conditions that are killing people. Even that you don't have to be sick That's what I'm thinking. You don't have to be sick to die of any condition. Even boredom do kill people. So we should emphasize on the fact that it kills this, it kills millions of people per day. Everyone knows that. People want new things. So that's something we should incite people's mind, people's interest by, I believe, by looking at presenting true life stories. Okay, how this thing looks like. Let's not talk much. Let's show people. Okay, this is what happens. This is what happens, and not figures but pictures. We should, as in the emphasis should be on pictures and not figures. As in millions of people are affected by this condition, but that shouldn't be our emphasis. Our emphasis should be stimulating people's attention. And in this part of the world, even if they don't know what we are talking about, but they can visualize it, it stimulates their attention. So they get stuck with the idea. That's something that I believe we should keep emphasis on. And apart from that, we also need pragmatism. We should be pragmatic. We should be pragmatic in our style. What do I mean by pragmatic? If you want to, if any editor wants an article on tuberculosis, he already knows what he's looking for. Okay, tuberculosis affect this. You start with the introduction to work with the severity of tuberculosis, what causes tuberculosis, how many people are dead, how do you diagnose tuberculosis. So a lot of people actually know what that is all about. So anytime they come across articles like that, they ever flip through such articles. They won't even read, skim through and live on their home. But that should, and I don't blame writers that do that, because like I said earlier, they are not scientists. They don't know what they don't really know what core tuberculosis is all about. That's why we need people that are actually professionals in this line. And as to the best of my ability, I've been talking to a lot of journalists on several health conditions, what makes them different, how their presentation looks like, so that they can come in from the human angle, not from the information angle. People know, okay, this is what it does, but how will it affect me? How will it affect my daily living? And I believe that if you share stories of people that are affected, not from the derogatory way, but from the human angle way, how it has affected their lives, what they've lost, and I believe people will know that, okay, this is something that can make me stop my actions as the husband of the family, as a wife. My children could actually suffer for this. I can put my entire generation at risk if I don't do something about tuberculosis, if I don't protect myself from tuberculosis, if I don't take utmost preventive measures and get diagnosed on time. That is what I believe should be the next line of action. Apart from that, there should be collaborative measures. So that's what I always do when I'm on projects like that. If I, for example, by God's grace, if I during that tuberculosis project that I mentioned earlier, what I usually do is that when I having a project, it's not just about writing. No, although I put into writing, I always involve the print media, the TV, and of course the radio, promoting these things. So it's not just about people putting ideas in books, putting ideas in writing, putting ideas in documentaries, but active repetition, saying things over and over again in different formats, and of course letting people know the severity of wrong decisions or indecision. That's what I believe the current trend in media reporting of tuberculosis is going to be like. A lot has been done, a lot new challenges are being created, especially with the issue of drug resistant, especially the methylene drug resistant strains of tuberculosis, which I've actually visualized. But like I said, if we keep hammering on this on just figures only, we won't get far. Let's focus on pictures, not figures. Let them know everything. We shouldn't take anything away from them. Let's be scientific. Let our scientific facts be presented in formats that individuals in their geographical area would understand. Let's bring in the human angle. Let us also be worthy ambassadors. Okay, this is what should be done. And of course, as much as possible, every journalist that is handling health reporting, especially tuberculosis, should take at least a form of training in that line, because there is a lot they don't know. There's a lot to still There's a lot to understand. It's only when we actually understand it ourselves that we're able to share it with the rest of the world. Thank you very much.